Gaethelos married into Egyptian nobility, living out his life in court. His descendants and the Gaels left under his governance lived in the kingdom for centuries while retaining their distinctive identity until 2000 BC, when they left under the command of another Gaethelos who led them through North Africa, intermarrying with the ancestors of the Berber people before moving on to Europe. In 1998 BC, the Egyptian Gaels settled in what is today Sweden, carving out a piece of territory for themselves under their king, a descendant of Gaethelos named Lamfind. On their way to Scandinavia, the Gaelic ships came across the sirens, those malevolent creatures who in centuries to come would try to lure the Greek general Odysseus and his men to their deaths as they made their way back to Greece following victory in the Trojan War. To save their people, Calcha, a druid and cousin of Lamfind, had the Gaels place melted wax in their ears to prevent them from hearing the sensual call of the sirens. They made it safely past and entered Europe, landing in Sweden where Lamfind, known as a great warrior, carved out territory for them to live. Here they remained for 100 years, marrying with the locals, but much like Egypt, they retained their unique identity as a people. In 1800 BC, under the command of Brath, seventh great-grandson of Lamfind, the Egyptian Gaels, now also mixed with Scandinavian blood, left northern Europe and invaded Spain and Portugal. It was a long campaign, one in which Brath himself did not survive, dying in battle sometime during the conquest. But his son, Breogan, continued on and eventually conquered all of present-day Spain and Portugal, becoming king of a kingdom he named Galicia in honor of his people. By this time, nearly all the Gaels carried the blood of Farsa in their veins, and within a few more generations they all would. Breogan's main achievement as king was to build a tower he named Brigantia, which can still be seen today, and now called the Tower of Hercules, in the city of Akaruna. One of his sons, Ioth, climbed up it one day in 1787 BC and spied Ireland in the distance. Gathering a force of men, Ioth intended to conquer the island in his father's name. Little did he realize that Ireland wasn't ruled by humans any longer, but by the Tuatha De Danann, a clan of elves, and fairies who conquered the isle a generation after the first Gaels arrived there. Ioth and his warriors stood little chance against the Tuatha De Danann, being cut down in battle like wheat. One warrior managed to survive and flee back to Galicia with his lord's body, but Breogan was unable to avenge his son. The next few generations went by peacefully for the Egyptian Gaels, blood now mixed with those of the Spaniards. In 1750 BC, Golam, grandson of Breogan and son of Baal, king of Galicia, set off as a mercenary, heading firstly into Asia, serving in Iran before making his way to Egypt. Golam found work under Pharaoh Neferhotep III of the 13th dynasty. Egypt at this time was divided between different kings, with Neferhotep ruling from the city of Ijawi in what is today the Fayum Governorate. The Gaelic soldier proved himself worthy as a warrior and rose up the ranks, becoming a general by 1740 BC, marrying Kemi, a daughter of the pharaoh. When Neferhotep died in 1736 BC, Golam returned with Kemi to Galicia, where he battled his relatives for the throne, claiming it within a year. By Kemi, Golam fathered 8 sons: Eberfin, born 1735 BC, Eberdon, born 1734 BC, Erimon, born 1732 BC, Ir, born 1730 BC, Iranan, born 1729 BC, Amergin, born 1728 BC, Kolptha, born 1726 BC, Erek, born 1724 BC. Golam died in 1702 BC, leaving the throne to the 2 Ebers and Erimon to rule as co-rulers. Their first decision as kings of Galicia was to avenge their great-uncle Ioth's death, a great stain on their family none could forget. By 1700 BC, the 3 kings had their fleet ready, and with their other brothers, including Amergin, who was a druid and skilled magic user, they set sail to Ireland. Like before, the Tuatha De Danann marshaled their army to meet the humans, using their magic to create a storm to confuse their ships. But Amergin counteracted it with his own spells, and the sons of Golam landed safely on Irish shores. 3 bloody battles followed between the humans and the Tuatha De Danann, and this time it wasn't easy for the elves and fairies to win. They struggled to overcome this new foe, but eventually realized they couldn't do it and made peace. In exchange for their lives, the Tuatha De Danann agreed to cede the island to the sons of Golam while they retreated to the otherworld. Following this, the island was divided between Eber Fin, Eber Don having been killed in battle, and Erimon, the former ruling the south and the latter the north. Thus were the Irish people born, all Gaelic people descending from Eber Don, Erimon, and Irper ancient Irish clan tradition.